All right.
I think, you're stepping on my strings here.
Oh, my bad.
No, you good.
Colin Slager Meister,
Yeah.
Optimal Fitness RX.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What are we doing? How are we getting the people of Indianapolis to be healthier?
Oh man, one day at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to. I mean, that's the hard part about food and training is science is always changing.
Mhm.
Like there are things that are never going to change, like certain movements and what they work. But it seems like there's always a new fad diet, always a better way to lose weight faster, which is never a good idea. But what I try to do is I've been broad in general with content, and I have started to niche myself back into extreme athletes. That's what I really love.
Yeah.
Like I've been to Winter X Games. It's a riot.
Oh, that kind of extreme.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Bet.
But I have a friend in Florida. She's going to set me up with some like car racers
Okay.
that she thinks I can help. So, now it's just extreme athletes and like, dude, I'd love a guy that does wingsuit. Like,
That's really cool. Yeah.
But I kind of love that world. I love regular sports, but I am more drawn towards the idea of me going to someone's like super pipe event and I'm just their nutrition guy. I'm behind the scenes and they just perform because they feel so good because of how they've been eating. So yeah, lately, how I'm reaching people is just trying to do as much value content as I can. Just posted one today about posture because I do a lot of exercise rehabilitation, a lot of breath work, a lot of core stability and strength. But it's one of the posts that performed the best metric wise. And it was just a simple exercise for posture.
Yeah.
A lot of people sit at a computer.
I think I shared that one.
Yeah. Appreciate that. And so it's just so simple. If you don't have the resistance band that I use in the video, you can still do the exact same thing without it.
Right. And those bands are like $5.
$5.
So,
yeah.
If you don't have one, you need one, I'll send you one. No
yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Send me
Either one of us will send you. How many bands do you need? So stuff like that I'll never move away from, but nutrition and performance wise, I'm trying to niche myself out better.
Yeah.
Because I know like me trying to be general, you get lost in the sauce.
So having like a knowledge of like nutrition, like a deep knowledge of it, how are you into, this is a nootropic that you brought. Thanks for the lovely
absolutely.
gift.
So I have a friend, my friend Marisa in Florida in West Palm. She's big into isogenics, which company's been around like 21 years. And I've heard of it. I knew people that were involved with it years ago. And she's like, just try some things out. I was like, all right, I'm down to try anything. I was like, as long as it's not full of bullshit. Like there's no artificial flavors, no sweeteners. They use like stevia leaf to sweeten their stuff. And she's like, try this nootropic. Because I told her I'm an Alpha Brain guy.
Okay.
I love Alpha Brain.
Yeah.
Whenever Tim, my co-host for our show, my buddy Tim, whenever we do Alpha Brain, we are on all day. It's like some Elon Musk rocket fuel. But I've been doing these the last couple of days, and I like these. So I always do Alpha Brain before we record.
Let's
before
do
any.
So what's in this?
The ingredients will be on the box. I can send it to you.
You mentioned like 80
plant-based things, 80 milligrams
mgs,
of natural caffeine from like tea leaf. But yeah, all plant-based natural ingredients.
Now, is this a drink the whole thing?
You can.
Okay. I don't have to do anything in moderation. So.
First time I did, I sipped it like it was a little cocktail, and I was like, all right, stop being a wuss about it, just down it. It's not bad. It's almost like a kombucha flavor to it. But it's
got a little bit of sour flavor. But it doesn't taste, like you said, it doesn't taste like a bunch of bullshit.
No. So it's obviously not like super sweet. It doesn't taste like cotton candy. But that shit's always too sweet for me anyway.
Thanks for sharing that. I will. Of course. Hopefully this kicks in about 20 minutes and solve all of our issues there.
Yeah. Well, if that solves all of them, dude, I found the best solution to everybody.
So you're working out of a gym right now, is that right?
Yes. So I have an office in a gym called CrossFit Lupos.
Okay.
And so reached out to him. He was actually kind of looking. So my good chiropractor friend of mine, Dr. Chris Owens, we were in a different gym and they said they ran out of space. They evicted us. So I was like, all right, I'm trying to recreate what I already had because I have personal training clients as well. And they were used to that kind of space, that kind of training. And so I couldn't take them a step down.
Right.
Yep. And so I reached out to probably 4 or 5 local gym owners. 2 got back to me. 1 wanted nothing to do with us being in this space. All right, cool. Another guy, he's like, I'm trying to create a nice one-stop shop where people work out. Like you have a chiropractor that they can use. You do rehab and nutrition and training. Like, so it's ever since we moved to that spot, everything exploded.
Oh, really? That's great.
Dude, it
Nice.
was like on a dime. At that time, I also started getting mentored by the people that certified me in nutrition, Nutritional Coaching Institute. Jason Phillips is the founder. So between that and just new location, different community of people really ready for what we had to offer. Yeah, it's been nothing but good things. Owner's so hospitable.
And so what are you doing for your clients now? I know you want to get to the extreme athlete. What are you doing for your clients now?
So I have nutrition clients. Most of them are at that gym. And then I have personal training clients that are not members.
Okay.
But I'm able to train them on the side while there's even a class going on, which nice. I couldn't do before.
Right.
And that is a big plus.
Yeah.
So, there's a ton of space. The facility is immaculate.
Okay.
And so, we don't run out of room, but I personal train people. I got a few with a big event, 29029, and that's the elevation of Everest. But they're climbing Whistler, mountain in Whistler 8 times. And it equates climbing Everest. And
how long is that going to take?
They have, what's their time cap? I think was it 48 hours? No, 36. I think it was 36. 36 or 48 hours to climb the elevation of Mount Everest. And so I got a couple
Seems easy enough.
Right. Well, they did it last year. And they were in Snow Basin, Utah. Snow Basin is a gorgeous mountain. They had to climb that 13 times. Yeah, so we were talking like mindset. Is it going to be mentally easier or harder for less reps, more elevation? Or was it easier, less elevation, more reps? I'm like, there's something about past 10. And it's just a mental hurdle past 10. But with them, I'm doing a lot of stress and breath work because they're going to be at elevation. But they said they were so winded, the gondola would bring them down, and in under 10 minutes, they have to go again, and they're just not recovered. And so we're going to start incorporating, I'm going to have them use gels. I'm going to have them do a couple days a month leading up. We have like 4 or 5 months where they're going to do almost like a whole competition day where it's like 3 or 4 workouts hard in an hour. But they would need a different nutrition for on the mountain. Like the people running it provide bananas and things, but we're going to incorporate gels. We're going to just test everything we can, different CBDs. And breathing, because it's all stress management.
Yeah, let's go into breathing. I want to talk about breath work. Breath work is becoming extremely popular now. I'm sure quite a few people probably still think it's nonsense, but I've been learning a lot about it personally and been using it. I wear a Whoop strap every day,
nice.
And they have like breathing exercises built into the app, which is cool. What's going on? Like, how is breath work? What is it doing to me?
So it can really help or hurt you a lot.
Okay.
So, the best way to breathe just throughout the course of your day is in and out through your nose. So your nose that's how we're meant to breathe, because your nose is a filtration system.
Right.
That's how it just filters air. When you get a heavy mouth breather, like one, you're going to get winded faster. You're not getting actual pure oxygen into your bloodstream as you would if you were nasal breathing.
No kidding.
As well. So it's air, not like oxygen into the blood.
Right.
So when you do breathe more in and out through your nose, you're also calmer. You can calm down faster. So there's so many different cadences. Like a simple one you can do throughout the day if you're even stressed in traffic or you're stressed at work and your cortisol level, you're high up there, that fight or flight. Just do a super long nasal inhale as deep as you can. And then once you kind of hit that peak, like you can't breathe anymore, take another short inhale through your nose and then a very long exhale throughout your mouth.
How's that? Is that Huberman?
Yeah. Dude, I love Huberman.
Yeah.
He just posted that today. I'm like, what perfect time.
Yeah. I binged on Huberman last week. Kay and I went on vacation and I was binging on Huberman all week. So I'm just like learning about all these things that are like probably too hard for me to understand, but he does such a great job of making them understandable.
Yeah, he dumps them down very well.
Yeah, but like just listening to those, I mean, I've already implemented things that, have changed the way I feel throughout the day. Just more breath work, understanding more about my hormones, which as I'm getting older is having like a bigger impact than, whenever I was 22, it didn't matter. Testosterone was through the roof.
Yeah.
But now I'm
What's
a
your
father.
Yeah, what kind of hormonal changes do you have?
I don't know. I haven't tested it since the beginning of the year, but just trying to keep on just like as much supportive, as much that I can do to support my thyroid, my testosterone, right? And so just working on those things. I really learned a lot. So he was talking about IGF-1, right? Is that right?
IGF-1.
IGF-1,
Yeah.
So growth hormone factor. And the way that kind of goes hand in hand with thyroid was pretty spectacular to me. Do you know much about that kind of stuff?
No, I didn't catch that one. But I know of IGF-1, like you can find it in a lot of meat proteins as well. I know like it's big in the bodybuilding space for like steroid use. People supplement with extra of that because it's for growth. But in terms of relation to hormones, I don't know as much. Like I know some hormones. I'm going to do a hormone certification soon, but that's really not my wheelhouse just yet.
That's fine.
So I'd be kind of talking out my ass on that one. I know some basics like bringing cortisol down and stuff like that, ways to do that with breath and nutrition, but that's kind of where I got to stop.
I've been working with Men's Health Solutions as a client for about 4 or 5 years now, and I've learned just so much, just like being around and learning like what they're doing for their patients. Definitely check them out if you're a young or middle-aged man, young man, whatever, to get your hormone support. They're awesome. And that's where I do my testing just to make sure my levels are staying consistent or improving. I have 2 little babies, and so I don't get a lot of sleep. I have 2 businesses, 2 babies, no sleep. So I'm trying to learn all these tricks and hacks to like at least feel alive still, right? So it's kind of had to learn out of necessity. But they've been great and super educational. So check them out, Men's Health Solutions.
What are some things you've done for that? Like keeping energy up when you got to work, but you were up with the kids. What are some things that you've implemented?
So I do red light therapy every day.
Okay.
First thing in the morning.
Nice.
Do it on my face. I get sunlight in my eyes, as Huberman always talks about. I also do red light therapy on my genitals.
I've heard about that.
Yes.
Do you have like a mini Juve light, or what? Where'd you get?
I just got a light board. Can actually get them on our website.
Oh, nice.
I just got a light board, and I think it's got like 200 red lights on it, and it's got near infrared. And I just lay in bed as I'm drinking my coffee. Caitlin brings me coffee every morning. It's awesome.
Nice.
And I use that to kind of literally charge up. Like you can feel it's wild.
That's cool.
You just got to do
it.
Yeah,
like,
you
I know
can totally feel
everything. And some things you just won't. But that's nice when you can. I'm ready to go.
Exactly. And then just trying to like keep a cleaner diet. I have like a gnarly sweet tooth.
Really?
So I've been avoiding that. I've always been somebody that's been able to outwork a bad diet. Like honestly, my dad's like 71 and he still has a 6-pack, and he's not like shredded or anything. He just has a 6-pack. So luckily, we have those genes, but not so much about looking good, but like I gotta feel good to actually perform mentally, physically. I played way too much basketball, so I'm like depleting myself all the time.
Too much. You like doing that.
I love it.
You ever hoop with Tim?
Huh?
No, he's a baller too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he can run with him.
All right. Tim, let's play some ball.
Yeah, dude, he would love it. He'd love it. The red light I've not done. I do a lot of infrared sauna. I'm a huge advocate of sauna.
Sauna is. See, I don't like the infrared as much. I know it's got some additional benefits compared to just like a room sauna. I just love feeling super hot, and those IR saunas don't get hot enough for me.
How hot were you getting? Because I'll sit in one at 165 for about 40 minutes, and the last 10 minutes can get pretty spiritual. Well,
when you get to 45 minutes, that's a lot. And you're sweating. I did sweat a lot in the IR sauna. I just wanted to be like 180s, like amazing. And then
that's true.
If I do make it 45 minutes, which is the longest I've gone, I'm cooked for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
really?
Done. Yeah. I bring a gallon jug of water, and I go through probably 2/3 of it almost.
Damn.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of water. And then get some electrolytes, of course. But then I'm just peeing all afternoon. And like, if I stay in that long, my brain just doesn't work. So a cold shower afterward helps kind of my brain come back to the world.
Sure.
Instead of just being in a complete daze. But yeah, sauna, I've been doing sauna every Sunday for, I don't know, 7, 8 years.
Yeah,
and it's like kind of my time.
Yeah.
And it's cool that now we're really, really learning how beneficial sauna is. Like, if I had to give up everything I'm doing for my fitness, if I could keep one, it would probably be sauna.
Dude, yeah. Yeah. If we're not counting sleep.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't get that anyway.
You're a machine, dude.
Well,
but yeah, sauna is, I try to push 3 days a week.
Yeah.
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 But you can do so many different regimens with it. Like, there are endless routines for endless benefits that nothing else can do as much with one tool in multiple ways, like a sauna can.
Yeah, I think, I forget where this was. I think it might have been Dr. Rhonda Patrick was talking about, like, if you hit the sauna 3 times a week for 20 minutes, 3 sessions, 20 minutes, your all-cause mortality drops by 40%.
And risk of dying from cardiovascular disease by almost half.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's just incredible, the benefits of it.
Even if you do 2 at like 20 to 30 minutes, your risk of cardiovascular drops by 37%.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 sessions a week at 30 minutes. If you did nothing else.
Yeah, my next house is definitely getting a sauna. Promise that.
Yeah.
I'm about to get a cold plunge. Pretty excited about. Do you do any of that?
I did before vacation. I haven't for a while. So my body's kind of rebelling in some weird ways. So I changed my diet quite a bit, and I'm just doing like one thing at a time. So I'm eating for my blood type right now.
Yeah, I saw you post about this.
Yeah, and we can get into that. And then, as of the last few months, since I got back from vacation a few months ago, I've been doing regular 2-3 sauna sessions a week. Because when I was doing that every day, well, almost every day before the pandemic, I was still going like LA Fitness and stuff. And I could like get rid of things. Like, I had a little planner's wart on the bottom of my foot years ago. And I'm asking it's like stepping on a rock every time.
Yeah.
So, I had such a pain.
Like, high school basketball is terrible.
Miserable. And I asked my dad, and he's like, "Oh, it's just a planner's wart. Go into the derm. They'll freeze it off for you." I was like, let me see what I can do. And that's when I first started realizing gluten was like kind of problematic for me. And I cut out gluten for the most part. I was hitting the sauna like 20, 30 minutes that time, 3 to 5 times a week.
Wow.
And it hasn't come back since.
Wow.
I didn't see a single doctor. So I'm like, dude, the sauna is fucking magical.
Oh yeah.
It is like, there's no 2 ways around it. And so I'm doing like one thing at a time, but I am going to incorporate the cold again on days that like I do jujitsu because I compete in June and I got a twingy knee right now. Yeah. We'll get into some things, but for joints, I need to get back in the cold. I do joint supplementation, but my problem is
like glucosamine.
No, I take Jocko's Joint Warfare.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is pretty nice. But I've been rolling quite a bit. So like you're just going to have some aches and pains. But I think the cold would help that. My problem is I go up to the clinic after I lift. And so I'm not going to wait 4 to 6 hours and then go back up.
Right.
So you got to wait. Otherwise you blunt that muscle building signal.
Yeah.
So that's why I haven't done cold, because it's too close to my training.
Right.
And it's just like, then it's inconvenient later in the day.
So I think my schedule will be doing cold in the morning before I go to the gym. Yeah. Because I've heard the cold blunts like the hypertrophy, right? Yeah.
So if you do a weight training session, it can stop that muscle building signal. So like you need that inflammation to adapt, but the cold will stop that because the cold reduces inflammation.
Right.
But that is the kind you want after you lift. Now, if you do something like, a combat sport or, something where you're not lifting weights, then jumping in the cold right after could help with recovery.
Right.
But in terms of muscle hypertrophy, you want to wait 4 to 6 hours before you get in the cold tub.
Gotcha.
But doing it first thing is nice because then your adrenaline gets pumping.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if I do it
more
in the
than
morning,
a minute and you're good.
I do it in the morning. I don't need this is saying a lot for me. Like I'm like a 800 milligrams caffeine a day kind of guy sometimes.
It's like
and I don't need it. I'm working on it. We'll say that.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. It used to be like 3 rains a day kind of guy, but we've been able to cut that back.
So now is it mostly just coffee?
I do coffee. I do pre-workout. Once in a while, I do a rain, but I drink a shit ton of Mio
Okay.
Energy.
Okay. I got a buddy who loves that shit.
It's very convenient and it's
Yeah.
very delicious.
Okay.
Squirt a little bit in a bottle of water, and then I've been taking Amber Self Evolve. I've been taking their new nootropic,
Okay.
and that's got depending on how much you choose to take, it's got 150 milligrams of caffeine.
Okay. Nice. Yes, that's a good amount of caffeine.
Yeah, and that's also making. I mean, you're zooming on that, so it's yeah, it's a good one.
Nice. I like nootropics, man.
Yeah, they're cool, man. It's I think kind of a major point here is it's amazing how much stuff we are learning about how we can fix our own bodies with supplementation, just things like cold plunge, things like sauna. I don't know where you stand, like if the barefoot thing is a craze or if it's real, but I used to be barefoot all the time.
Yeah.
And I never got injured. Started wearing these narrow ass shoes every day.
Mm-hmm.
I've been injured for like off and on for like 6-7 months.
Or like knee stuff?
Ankles, knees. I have like a oblique injury right now that I just I can't fix, or I haven't fixed yet.
Do you have like wide feet? Because I have wide feet, so I
somewhat,
need a wide
not
toe
super
box.
wide.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah, if you're getting squished, like then how you land and launch your foot is going to change everything.
Yeah.
And it only goes upstream.
Yeah. That's the worst part. Is so I twisted my ankle, and this might have been the last time you were over here or close. But I rolled my ankle, and then all of a sudden it just felt like everything was like out of alignment. And I started having knee issues, and I started having hip issues, obliques. It like you said, it just went up the chain.
Yeah, your foot can cause a shoulder issue.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like everything's connected.
So how do you just kind of looping this back to what you do? How are you working with people when they have injuries? Like, what are you doing to help them?
So first, I dive into the actual injury, like how it happened, what were you doing? Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't. But most people, when they know how they hurt themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so was it a lifting thing, a technique issue? Was it, I was moving a couch, I bent over, I twisted, and then I pulled the couch. It's like, well, you bent over, rotated with load, and how many times do you train that? Never.
Right.
So it's identifying like the thing behind the thing that caused it. But with everyone, whether they are a brand new training client or they're injured coming in for rehab, I start with like core trunk stability.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of breathing, a concept called dynamic neuromuscular stabilization. Basically, I'm working with them between the ears to teach them how to control all of their movement. Because we walk and don't think about it. We sit and stand, we don't think about it. So when you're finally aware of what you should be feeling when you're doing even basic everyday motor skills, then you're in control of your body and your movement. So same as with lifting. But what I do is I teach them basically diaphragmatic breathing, but on a little bit of steroids. And then we have certain movements. So I'll have them on their back. Their legs are up on a physio ball at 90 degrees. And when I teach them how to properly brace their core, like we're taught this belly button to spine. It's the exact opposite. Like that hurts.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So imagine like when you breathe, when you inhale, you want to expand your core.
Yeah. Okay. I just had it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like imagine your diaphragm is a balloon, and how we feel a balloon, it starts low, it goes out, then up.
Right.
And that's how we want to breathe. Start your air going low out, then let it rise.
Right.
And so it's funny, I've worked with like a yoga instructor with this before.
Yeah, it's the number one thing I do whenever I'm doing breathing exercises. I'm pulling down on my diaphragm. Like as I breathe, I'm using my diaphragm to feel the air come into my lungs, starting at the bottom and working my way up.
100%. And so when you fill that to a certain point, you feel your core kind of turn on. And then when you can hold that, that's like a braced core. When people say brace your core, that's what that is. Yeah. So when you can hold that, you maintain that air you just created, and then you can breathe at the same time, then you can move and do everything a whole lot safer, more efficiently, more effectively, especially with lifting. So what I'll do is I'll teach someone that, and that can help with, I've seen it help with hip issues, knee pain. And so if I can teach them that and retest what recreates their pain, I know it's what we call stability motor control disorder. They're compensating so heavily, say a quad or a knee, because they're unstable in their core. So it's finding the thing behind the thing. So when people come in injured, after we get to what I think is the path we need to take to get the thing behind the thing of their injury, a lot of times it's a stability thing. Yeah, we'll work muscle tissue, like we can work through that. But let's fix your movement pattern too. Like we do enough things a certain way, we get away with it, and then eventually it hurts us.
Yeah.
So let's find out what that thing was, change how you move, and let's get preventative. So that's where I usually start everyone is, working between the years, teaching them how to educate their body to move.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. That's kind of like my wheelhouse.
Yeah. The mind body connection is something that like a lot of people talk about, but they don't spend a lot of time like explaining how that feels. Like you can, like for me, I can feel, or I don't know if technically I can, but I feel like I can understand like every fiber in my body, like where it's at. Like I can go there mentally and see what's going on, that kind of thing. But some people have no idea, and they don't move fluidly. They're, and they're always hurt. I know it's a lot since I just said I've been hurt, but
what's bad shoes? You just need new shoes.
Yeah, I've quit wearing those shoes. Yeah. Now I just wear sandals, no shoes, or I'm actually wearing water shoes right now. So just they're just super. There's like nothing on the bottom.
So is it
basically
like
barefoot?
Water in there?
No, so like you would wear them like
like you're on the sandy.
These stupid things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where it's like mesh and stuff.
Got it. Okay. And so it's basically like wearing no shoes. Yeah, I mean they're cheap little $30 boys from Amazon, but they keep my feet wide.
I got shoes like that.
Yeah, there's like no stability, so it's like all me.
Are you playing ball in those?
No.
Oh, okay.
No way.
Just had to make sure.
No, I got some nice basketball shoes. I try and make sure that's important. Anytime I've ever like, I used to play in like running shoes because it would cause me to play lower to the ground so I wouldn't get hurt.
Interesting. Okay.
Just like mentally, like you're not jumping up and doing crazy shit whenever like I'm wearing these shoes.
With like no support.
Yeah, exactly. But now I'm wearing, so these are like LeBron's and they're like, he's old. Yeah. So his shoes are incredibly supportive. So I wear those for basketball, but
nice.
I'm trying to pretty much be as close to barefoot all the time as I can.
Yeah, there is something to like being grounded, right?
Yeah.
Like grounding, which I don't do. It'd probably be beneficial. I just haven't done it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's like the mental, spiritual grounded that you're probably talking about, but then I also like the more I'm walking around barefoot, the more stable I feel.
Okay.
And so my feet are stronger, my balance is better.
Yeah.
And just like a bad thing, the good thing just seems to travel up the chain.
Yeah.
It seems to correct a lot of things.
Yeah. So what's your current regimen like fitness wise? Like you're playing a lot of ball, like how many days a week, then how many days do you do weights? Do you do any like yoga, anything like that?
I recently started stretching, which is like I'm a guy that can't touch my toes. So yeah. And whenever I had this like last little hip, I don't even know what it was. It was just like super tight and I couldn't get it unlocked. So I'm committed to stretching. But basically what I'll do is I'll do weights 4 or 5 times a week, individual muscle or individual zones, basically. I'll go on at least a 2 or 3 mile walk every day, 7 days a week. Play basketball.
Underrated like that.
Yeah, totally. Then I'll play basketball about 3 times a week. So I'm in the gym probably or exercising at least 1.5 times a day.
Nice. It's good, man.
It a lot of it, like the walking is mostly like, people talk about you got to meditate every day. That's my meditation. Yeah. Like it just allows me to zone out. And
it's kind of sauna's meditation.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you're just kind of working on, you're balling by yourself, working on just, playing the hoops alone, that's meditative.
Yeah.
Like you get in that flow state. Right? Like you just feel good.
Yeah. And I like to do like vision work, just like if I'm going to meditate, that's what it's going to be. I'll do that whenever I'm doing my red light therapy.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, is every morning and usually every night too.
Yeah. Nice. What kind of constants do you have when you're like envisioning things? Like any big constants that you always like see, like you always go to, like, like this is for sure a thing that is like I am manifesting. Yeah,
there's a few things I don't want to share, but
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. One of them is Kayla and I driving over a specific spot in Indy in a specific car, with a specific song.
Cool.
Every night.
Love it.
Every night.
Dude, love it. That's awesome. Yeah, I saw Huberman post a new episode about like visioning things, and I haven't listened to it yet, but because I'm finishing Rogan with Andrew Schultz. God, dude,
That one took me a while to get through, even though I loved it.
Hilarious.
Yeah, those two are funny.
Man. So after that, I'm gonna listen to Huberman's on envisioning things.
Yeah, he just dropped one. That's not the one he just dropped like yesterday.
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's the most recent.
With another scientist from Stanford.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I started it just so I could get it in my feed where, it shows you what you've started and just doesn't, it relentlessly shows you until you finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put it in that little queue.
Sucks sometimes. Like, leave me alone. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, totally. So another thing I saw that you posted was the triangle of awareness, and I love it because there's times, and so the 3 points in the triangle were performance, aesthetics, and longevity, right?
Yep.
I find a lot of times whenever I'm focused on like one or more of those things more than the other two, I continually move around in that triangle,
which is totally fine.
Yeah, and I just found it interesting that you have these axes that you focus on, and you can improve like in one area, like my performance. Whenever I'm focused on like doing things for my longevity, my performance or my aesthetics, both they suffer typically.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And if sometimes whenever I'm just going straight aesthetics and I'm just, my longevity is terrible. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Walk around like that, but then that's we have.
Create the new dad bod, Jeremy.
I am
create a new dad bod. Yeah,
we're good, bro. We're good. But so I found that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so that's a concept again from NCI where I did my nutrition. And so for people listening and watching, I meant to bring a piece of paper, but imagine a basic triangle. And you can place these wherever you want, but I put aesthetics at the top, and then longevity bottom right corner, performance bottom left corner. And what it does, it helps both the client and the coach identify goals and direction. So rarely are people thinking, what am I going after? You can put a dot anywhere on or in that triangle. It can be on the line right up to aesthetics, and you can be 100% aesthetics. Nothing wrong with that. There's no wrong answer. You can be right in the middle, where I think I kind of live most of the year. Right now I'm floating more towards performance. So that helps give coaches a good idea of where to start your nutrition.
Yeah.
Among other things, but it gives a client, it makes them think about what they want.
Yeah.
Because if they're like, oh, I just want to be healthy. We're like, okay.
Yeah.
I love that. But let's get specific. Like if you don't have specifics, we don't have a roadmap.
Right.
And without that, there's no results. So
and something I love about it, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Get it right back. Something I love about it is you can kind of change where you want that dot to be.
Anytime you want.
Yeah. And so like I said, there are times whenever I just want to be jacked and tan and handsome. Yeah. And then there's times where I just want to live forever. Right? Yeah. Or it's times I want to be able to dunk. These things that you can, based on where you're at and that specific, it's not locking you into anything that you aren't going to want to do in 6 months.
Yeah. It's seasons.
Yeah.
That's how you don't get bored either.
Right.
It is just change your season. So for example, if someone said, I think this is one I gave in the video I made. If someone says like they're 100% longevity, like their dot is way in the longevity corner. Okay, cool. They're likely not doing a lot of weight training. Maybe once a week.
David Sinclair comes to mind.
Yeah, maybe like once a week. They're not going high heart rate, super intense, just enough to move some weight and have some muscle. Probably doing a lot more stretching, maybe a lot of yoga, more walking, to where they don't require a lot of carbs in their diet. Whereas someone like you and I do more weights, you're doing more basketball, like you need more carbs. Otherwise you're going to wilt away and your energy is going to be trash. Someone in that longevity corner, they're going to be mostly proteins, fats, a little bit of carbs, maybe mostly around whatever exercise they are doing, but not a ton. So it won't be exactly keto, but close to it. So that's just a quick way of assessing how to take someone's nutrition plan in one facet based off their goal. If someone's aesthetics, are you doing a lot of weightlifting? We're going to have a lot more carbs than longevity person. Performance, you might be slightly in a surplus, closer to maintenance. And aesthetics, that can go up and down depending if you're stepping on stage or you're just, hey, I want to get big. All right, bro, we're just going to eat. So it is nice, but again, you can put your dot anywhere you want in the triangle, on the lines, anywhere. There's no wrong answer, but it does help you as a client think about specifically what you're going after, and helps your coach kind of start your plan.
So you you kind of led right into the anabolic window. I know
I made a post about that too.
Yeah, so you can fill in the blank. The anabolic window is
it's bullshit.
Okay, that's what I was hoping you'd say.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about
it. Because look, I bought into it years ago too, and this is what I love about, like, my mind can be changed on something I'm so passionate about. And science is always
changing
all the time.
I get in trouble with Caitlin all the time. She's like, you said we weren't supposed to do this. Well, there's new information. So right. We're doing this.
So, the anabolic window, the idea that, you have like this 30-minute time frame after you lift weights to get your shake in before you go catabolic, meaning before your body starts to stop promoting that muscle building signal. There are specific times, like if athletes are doing 2 or 3 trainings in a day, then yes, speed does matter for your post-workout nutrition. That's when you should be fast. Very few people are doing that. Those are high-level athletes.
Right.
Guys like you and I, we don't need to worry about timing and speed like that.
I thought you said high-level athletes do.
All right. You're right. The ones getting professionally paid to do it. Where they have teams.
Yeah.
Teams. To where if you and I, we go to the gym, we work out, we can have a shake and a meal. I'm always pro whole foods, just in terms of like whole food, not like the store. Gonna go broke. I do get things from there though. It's kind of nice.
From Whole Foods?
Whole Foods, yeah. But, we can wait an hour or 2 if we want, because after you do that training, your body is still sending that muscle building signal to grow what you just worked out between 48 to 72 hours before it starts to diminish. So it's peaking between 2 and 3 days after you finish that workout. So you have plenty of time to get your post-workout nutrition. All the time you'd see like anyone who promoted that, then they throw you their discount code for the protein that they're pushing.
Right.
Which I get it, dude. It's a hustle. I respect it. But just be honest with people.
Well, I think a lot of it is recycled information, regurgitated information. You heard people talk about the anabolic window for 10 years. Everybody thinks that's probably,
like I said, I was all in.
Yeah.
I was in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy that like we got so marketing, like the word toning. It's just marketing. It's just marketing. Yeah. You're growing muscle or you're not. You're losing fat or you're not.
Right.
But with that anabolic window, so 48 to 72 hours, I'll go into training frequency too. I probably lift weights at least 4 days a week. And every time I'm doing something full body.
Yeah.
So I'll start with something very strength oriented. Maybe that day it's an Olympic lift. Today it was just like deadlifts. But then I'll go into some accessory work, some high heart rate, depending on what I'm doing later that day. But if you do that 3-4 days a week, you're consistently sending signals to the muscle to grow. Whereas if you do body part splits, which some people can, genetically, I cannot get away with doing chest on Monday and not touching it again until next Monday. It's like, so what happened after that 48, 72 hours? Nothing happened. So imagine you break up all your sets on Monday into 3 different workouts. One, you recover faster. You don't feel as wrecked. Because if you're so wrecked you can hardly walk or train again, like then you just ruined another week's worth of training.
Right.
So break up your sets if you're doing body part splits. Look, if it works for you, it works for you. But for most people, I think doing full body splits, they're going to see the most amount of gains for the least amount of time and work. And you'll feel better. It's not as intense on your body.
Yeah, there are specific exercises that I do every workout, and they're more about like the full function of my body. And I just feel like my leg workouts are better if my shoulders and back are warmed up. Right?
Okay.
Just like how everything's working together. So yeah, I do. There are things like I do back extensions every day. pull-ups, dead hangs, um, every day or every
Nice.
workout.
Yeah,
It just helps
lunges,
with everything.
lunges are nice. They suck, but
Oh
it's
yeah,
good for balance too.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's really more why I'll have people do lunges is
Mhm.
balance over anything.
I do it. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but this it really seems to help my back, like
Hmm.
prevent my back from getting injured. The more
Okay.
I do lunges, um, like lower back,
Yeah.
it just really helps that.
Okay. Yeah, it could be like an isolated work. I mean, you're working a lot of things, working glutes,
Hmm.
hamstrings, quads. You work everything, right?
Yeah.
So I think the stronger that is, especially if we sit a lot, the stronger that is,
Hmm.
the better you're gonna feel.
Yeah, and my hamstrings are incredibly tight. My glutes have always been weak,
Hmm.
and so doing that just prevents those nagging
Hmm.
pains from coming.
But you're stretching more, so that's good.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Touching them toes, boy.
Yeah, we're close, man. Ugh, there we go.
Hey, I
Got it.
saw it, and it's on
Oh,
video.
damn
It
it, it's not on
counts.
camera.
No.
Nobody got it. Well, maybe that
People,
one did.
people can take our word for it.
Yeah.
You touched his toes.
Thank
You
you.
touched his toes.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Credit where it's due. But yeah, that's good. And like stretching, God, it's. I had a conversation about this with a client earlier today, and stretching is a pain in the ass because you lose it so much faster than you gain it. But it's so important to not be wound up so tight. I mean, David Goggins talks about how tight he was muscularly
Right.
when he was overweight, out of shape. I mean, he's an extreme guy, but even if you stretch like 5 to 10 minutes a day, it helps everything feel better because whether you move a lot or you don't, you're going to get tight and have aches and pains.
Mhm.
So yeah, being longer is always helpful.
So I want to go back to a little bit of
Mhm.
stress management.
Let's do it. I love it, dude. Recovery and stress is the game.
Yeah, yeah, I'm learning that more and more.
Mhm.
We live a stressful life in this house. You see my son.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
He is on a ventilator 24/7 and requires a lot of work. You
Mhm.
got to basically keep him attached to a bunch of stuff all the time. He's
Yeah.
going to be fine. So thank you for your thoughts and prayers, everybody.
He's
But
a trooper, dude.
yeah, he's a cool little kid, but he's just a lot of extra work and a hell of a lot of extra stress.
I bet.
Um, so it's been a big focus of mine the last few years, trying to learn how to handle that
Mhm.
without it, the top blowing off, right?
Right.
And so, some of my favorite things to do, obviously, like I said, walking is meditative for me. The breath work, sauna, um, ashwagandha. Like,
Okay.
what else can people do to manage their stress?
I mean, there are stressors you can't remove, right?
Right.
Um, but if someone is high stress like that, and if you're also adding very high intense workouts, like 4 or 5 in a week,
Hmm.
I'd say back one of those off
Yeah.
and make that a less stressful workout day. Like, if you're doing super intense, maybe you lift weights just low and slow that day. Just
Yeah.
take your time, lift things that feel good, move a little bit, because at that point, less is going to be more, especially if you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
Less is more.
I was definitely overtraining for a while.
Yeah, that's easy to
It was the
do.
only way I stayed sane.
Right.
Right.
And so that's like that counter,
Hmm.
like that keeps me going mentally, but it's hard on my body. So that's where you can just back off how intense you're going.
Hmm.
Don't have to be heavy for you to promote the stimulus of growth.
Hmm.
So I'd say, remove what stressors you can. Improving food is one thing. So if you have a high processed food diet, implement more whole foods, like
Right.
things in their closest to their natural state as possible. I'm not saying that I don't have like pretzels and things like
Right.
that. Like, yeah, sure, but try to cook a lot of your own food.
Hmm.
Even if you do like cook something that's like breaded at your house, it's always going to be healthier than buying it.
Right.
100%. So yeah, nutritionally, you can really bring down stress.
Okay.
If do you have trouble like falling asleep?
Not even. I sleep great whenever I don't have other things waking me up.
Yeah. Okay.
So my son wakes up twice a night, every single night.
Yeah.
I literally tried everything, and we've gone to specialists, and they're just like, I mean, he's hooked up to a bunch of stuff. Like it's tough to sleep that way, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but so like I track my sleep.
Mhm.
I do things to make the most out of my sleep, and I get 5 hours of sleep a night. Not enough,
No.
but it's good sleep. So,
Yeah.
or whenever I'm not getting woken up.
Sure.
But like I started taking glycine. My REM
Okay.
sleep has gone through the roof.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slow wave sleep, still is kind of tough because that typically comes in like the first half of the night more than the second half of the night, and the first
Mhm.
half of the night is usually the rough one.
Got it.
So that's the recovery side that's where that struggles come in.
Mhm.
But doing things to kind of prevent that, as far as like the way that she and I are sleeping,
Yeah.
taking turns doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, the sleep I get, I'm like trying to be on top of it and manage it as best I can.
Yeah.
But it's still not enough. You just can't make up for not
Right.
enough.
Right. Yeah, that's where Huberman talked about that non-deep sleep rest,
Hmm.
like the 15, 20 minutes where you just lay down, shut your eyes,
Yeah.
and you're not trying to fall asleep, but even that can help
Yeah.
give you a pick me up. So things like that. Um, I would say, some days if you're just feeling that high cortisol, that high stress, keep it at your walk that day and maybe leave it there. Walk, maybe you stretch, maybe you throw an extra sauna sesh and leave it there.
Really?
Yeah.
So why can't
Just-
I? Because I feel like those are the days I want to train the most. I gotta work this out.
Yeah. Well, then I'd say net in your week, bring something else down
Okay.
in that week because, yes, training we like to think is quote good stress. The body
Yeah.
doesn't know the difference,
Okay.
good and bad stress. It just knows it is under duress.
Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't. Oh, you're working out. I'm not going to give you a hard time.
Oh, that makes me happier.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're good. No, it's still stressful.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd say, if that high stress day is where you do need to go train, bring something else down. Nutritionally, you can increase. I'm sure you're eating a good amount of carbs.
Yeah. I
Um,
mostly get my carbs from fruit, though.
okay, so those real high stress days, maybe add a rice, quinoa. If pasta sits well with you, add that because carbs spike insulin,
Hmm.
which brings down cortisol.
No kidding.
So I had a patient once. She hated her job. She was trying to find a new job. Her and her boyfriend were about to move into a new house together. They were buying a house, and she was coming in for like severe neck pain. So she had just everything, not sleeping well, you name it, she had it going on. And so I'm probing a little bit. I go, "What's your dinner like?" And she's telling me. I was like, "What's your carb with dinner?" And she goes, "Oh, I don't eat carbs." Why not? I don't like carbs. Why not? I don't know. I hate carbs.
Heard they were bad.
Yeah. Carbs are the enemy.
Nice,
yeah,
man. Just
yeah.
dropped an Austin Powers reference.
Yeah, appreciate
That's great.
that. Yeah, dude, if I could get paid to quote movies, I would never work again.
Oh yeah,
Like
I'm right there with you.
it might be
You notice I
borderline
picked up what movie that
mental
was
illness.
immediately.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes I'll rip a good one in my mind. I'm like, that is so good.
And nobody else gets
No,
it.
and they're like, huh? I'm like, oh God, I need new friends.
Yeah.
But so I told her, I was like, hey, add a carb that agrees with you
Hmm.
and see if that doesn't help you fall asleep because she could not fall asleep.
What do you mean agrees with you? Like
So like gluten and I don't get along as well.
okay.
And I think that's also a genetic thing. My mom has an issue with it.
Okay.
My dad, he's just fine with it, but I'm more my mom's side than my dad's. And so when I get a good amount of gluten, like if I have some normal beers and then a burger with a regular bun, like dude, it is a brick in my stomach and it just sucks. I had In-N-Out when I was on vacation with my buddy for the first time ever. And this is also, it's grease related, but I had no cheese. I had regular bun. Like it was a brick for the rest of the day. It was lunch. Rest of the day, it sat. And it's awful, dude.
Yeah.
I'll dose it a little bit here and there so I don't have like a systematic freak out. But for the most part, I ignore it.
Yeah, it's weird how the body does that. But continue. You were talking about she had
so
pain.
that's
She
when I
needed
say
to add a
it
carb.
agrees with you. Yeah, just use what works. Like I don't care what it is. If it's pasta, eat pasta. And so she came in the next week. Asked her if hey, did you do what I told you? Yeah, ate such and such, whatever she made, and she said she fell asleep a whole lot faster because those carbohydrates spiked her insulin, dropped her cortisol. So that cortisol is that fight or flight hormone. That's like, if you're in a dangerous situation or you're lifting heavy weights, it's that go mentality. I'm ready for fucking war. Carbs can help bring that down. So that's why carbs post workout are also a good idea.
Okay.
Because yes, you're replacing glycogen, all that, whatever, but it can also calm you down. So because you want to get out of that. A lot of people live in that fight or flight. They live there all the time.
See, I knew it would spike insulin, but I didn't realize that insulin was going to
brings cortisol down.
Yeah, that's interesting. Why is that?
That's a Huberman question. That's
Okay,
that's
too
above
much,
my above my pay grade. Yeah, like I said, I know some hormonal things like at that level,
Mm-hmm.
but in terms of like the actual biology of why,
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know that's what it does, and so we'll implement that. But yeah, so I would say those high stress days for you, add some extra carb, like a rice, whatever you like.
Mm-hmm.
Add some and see if that helps. You can do it end of the night, or if your afternoon is just on fire, have some carbs. See if that doesn't help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like granola and Greek yogurt. That's my. So I told you I have a gnarly sweet tooth.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I'm not going to be sitting around eating ice cream all the time, but I love to get that fix. So I eat Greek yogurt with granola
Nice.
quite a bit.
Nice.
And yeah, that's another like carb heavy meal that I have.
Mm-hmm. Look into there's this brand called Joyride, and it's like 2 or 3 grams of sugar. They make sour gummy bears and gummy worms, and they're delicious.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing but carbs and fiber.
Okay.
So to fix your sweet tooth, check those. Like I'll get those at Meyer, or there's another Smart Sweets is good too. But a lot of those, like they get so stuck in your teeth, it makes me angry to eat them, and my enjoyment is just gone. Yeah. I hate it more than I enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But the Joyride ones are nice too.
So I'm trying to get rid of my desire for it. Right, the sweet feeling sensation. I'm trying to like get away from it.
Change your palate a little bit.
Yeah.
Granola helps. I like granola.
Yeah, pretty good.
Fruit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are some things that I would say, like for you personally, like those high stress days, like if you have to work out, up your carbs that day.
I eat an incredible amount of frozen fruit, like all day. I love it. It's like frozen pineapple, frozen strawberries, frozen blueberries.
I only eat grapes frozen. Like I'll put frozen berries in a shake, but in terms of just eating something frozen, it's grapes.
I got to try that because I bet I would like that.
Sounds like I need to try every fruit frozen.
Yeah,
I like it
have,
more than
there's probably 6 4-pound bags of fruit sitting in my freezer that I just.
Nice.
So I fill up like a big cup with them in the morning, like a 32-ounce cup. And then like that takes me like 2 hours to eat. And then, I'm feeling thirsty or feeling hungry, but not trying to eat. I'll just grab a little bit straight out of the bag. Nice. It's so good. Love it.
Dude, I saw this comedian. He had a bit where he was trying to get off candy, and he had a real bad sweet tooth too. And he was like, so I told my friends I'm getting off candy and I'm eating a lot of fruit. And he goes, this guy looks at me, well, just be careful. There's a lot of sugar in that. And he just like changed his face. He goes, find me one fruit fat friend that you have.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, where do you want them to get sugar from?
Yeah.
Like fruit au natural or some processed stuff. Like, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Let your buddy eat some fruit.
Nobody ever got fat from eating fruit.
Yeah, if someone's overweight from so much fruit, hit us up, please.
Yeah, they're having a good life. They must be eating a lot of fruit, and that can get expensive.
Dude, yeah. Jeez. Yeah, fruit is crazy. Berries, man, it pains me to buy berries. Mm-hmm. But yeah, do what you gotta do.
So, real quick before we kind of wrap up here, I want to talk just about like you mentioned a metabolic reset. What is that?
Yeah, and I can go depending what time you want to go to. I can go.
Yeah, I just want to try and keep these to an hour.
Cool.
We can do next time we do like my podcast, we'll rip it for a couple hours again.
Dope. So yeah, metabolic reset. That's so when I nutrition coach people, usually that's the first thing I do. Like that month 1 is making sure their metabolism is working how we want it to. So more times than not, I have dealt with under eating clients, even if they're a little overweight and they want to lose weight, they're still under eating. And so, that's a tough conversation. I've coached a lot of females that are under eating, and I have to tell them to eat more and they want to lose more.
Right.
But behind that is your body does not want to burn calories. It does not want to burn more energy. It wants to be comfortable. And so when you are underfed, it's going to hang on to everything it can. It just doesn't want to let go. So that's how you'll see like marathon runners with a beer belly. Their body adapts. Your body is very smart. And so when I get them to eat more, at first they might see a fluctuation in weight up. They might not. And they might see it go down already. I've had all three instances. But that's what I tell them. Like, this is why, because I need you to eat up to your ideal, quote, maintenance calories. And so there's umpteen different calculations to do to find how much you should be eating calorically. All those within 10 to 15%. Nothing is going to be exact. So I might have someone who's eating 1,300 calories, and via that calculation, they should be eating like 2,200 because of their lifestyle, their goals, whatever. I'm not going to push them up 900 calories a day. I'm going to tell them, eat one more meal. Don't force feed yourself. We're going to do this slowly because your stomach probably shrank. So we have to kind of slowly introduce more food. And once they start to get fed, if they're like comfortably full after a day of 1,800 calories, we're good there. And if their weight doesn't change, more than like a couple pounds in a week, and we're there for a couple weeks, okay, now we've hit your body's maintenance. Then when I take them back down, they'll respond better.
Okay.
And they're not starving. Because if, unless someone says, hey, I have 2 weeks to lose a few pounds, I'm eating 1,200 calories, I can't take them up in that and then down. So I'm not going to, if we have 3 months, I'm not going to take them further down. It's just not safe. So resetting your metabolism, that's usually month 1, is making sure like that we are at maintenance. So whether you want to gain muscle, like gain weight, or lose it, we're starting at a neutral point rather than so far either direction.
Okay.
And then when they lose that weight, maintenance numbers change. And that's where people yo-yo diet. They lose the weight, they don't change the numbers from that weight loss, and they go back to the original, quote, maintenance, then they blow up again.
Right.
So it's like, you changed, everything else has to change.
Right. Yeah, people probably don't think about that a lot.
So that's usually month 1 is a metabolic reset. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I love that stuff, dude. It's
do you get into fasting at all?
I mean, there's benefits to it. Using it for weight loss, I don't think it's a good idea.
Right. I wouldn't suggest that.
I mean, there's growth hormone benefits to it, mental clarity, cognitive. Sorry, my throat is like.
Have some liquid death.
Yeah, I like this. One, like if someone says they got it because a can isn't cool, they're lying. A can's sweet, but it makes me. I like having a beverage. Yeah. And if I just have my water, it's like I feel bored sometimes, so it feels like I got a beverage. Yeah,
I do sparkling waters a lot.
But I like to think my approach to nutrition is more holistic and just a little different than most. I credit NCI is where, the science is the science, but the approach is very different than most. So
that's
it's not better. It's
coaching institute. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Where can people find you? How can you help them?
Yeah. So the website is optimalfitnessrx.com. Instagram is at optimalfitnessrx, and then my personal Instagram is the Colin Slager, and then TikTok is Slagermeister.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like
TikTok.
Jägermeister, but Slagermeister. Yeah.
Nice.
I jumped on TikTok. I was like, let's try it.
Yeah.
It's for the business.
Yeah, for the business.
I will catch myself scrolling some days, but
cool.
Cut it off. Man, I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Anytime.
Next time we'll do it again.
Love it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. It's the IFM pod, episode number 1. See you later.
See you.